That's what makes it fun. Is that each week is a little different. You never know what you're going to get. It's the best reality television you're going to get. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got some broadcasting questions for you, and I have some NFL questions for you. I'm gonna get to both. Don't worry. So I'll let you pick which one you want to start with. Which path?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do the broadcasting.
Heck yeah! I was hoping you would say that first. All right. So I think one of the last times I talked to you was kind of right around the time you were like, "All right, let's take a step back." But you did tell me this. I have it up here. You said, "I do love broadcasting NFL games. I think I could be one of the very best at it if I chose to go that direction." Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. It's not just to scratch an itch. This is look. I love the game. I'm passionate about the game. I feel like I've got so much to offer. And I think as I think about kind of the NFL media world, and look, I've had a chance to do all of it. From the perspective of in studio work to being on the sideline to doing Super Bowl pregame shows to broadcasting college, broadcasting pros. Every element of it, and man, broadcasting games there's a that really gets the juices flowing, and it's the preparation that goes into it is very much like playing the game. And then just the ability to make that really entertaining and really fun, and really insightful for the fan, as if you're just sitting in the living room with them. I think that's what's so enjoyable about it. And obviously, you've got tons of great relationships around the leagues when it comes to players, coaches. I know the schemes, I know the coordinators, I know what they're trying to do. There's obviously the themes change, from week to week. Like for example, this week, our first game, our first assignment is the Packers at the Giants, right? I mean, so could you think of any bigger storylines going into this game than what, you know, kind of happened earlier this week? They fire their head coach. Is their young stud quarterback going to be out? Jameis Winston, a guy who I played with, potentially coming in to get his first start for the Giants this year. Packers kind of reeling, lost two in a row, but they're still a contender, just lost to the, previous Super Bowl champs at home. And, so you got all these different storylines going into a game like this, which look, it's why we love the NFL. It's why we love, being able to talk about it, and the fans certainly love it. So, yeah, I'm excited about getting back in the booth and, getting with the fans.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely get into. I have Packers questions. I got Giants questions for you. That's part of the NFL path that I was saying earlier. But like, how did this opportunity with Fox? I should have mentioned that at the top. You're joining Fox Sports. That's great. But how did this come about at Week 11?
I've have great relationships with all the networks. I think just going back to my playing days, and then even as I've done different elements of media here over the last couple of years. I've really worked with so many people in the industry, and have great relationships with all of them. And so for me, it was about the right opportunity, with the right group, and feeling like it would help accentuate, I think my strengths and the things that, I really feel, the areas where I feel like I can bring the most value. And so yeah, this opportunity came around with Fox, which is an incredible group. I tell you what, they support, I think their talent, and they treat it like a locker room. They support you incredibly well, and I've witnessed that in the different things that I've done with them through the years. I did the Fox pregame up in LA back in September, and it's really an incredible group, great leadership, and I'm just excited to get to work with Adam Amin in the box together as my play-by-play guy, and yeah, just work with the great team that they put together.
Adam's excellent. For the fans who don't know who that is, you actually do. Like, he's definitely called a game that you've watched before. He's really great. So I'm excited to watch that partnership bloom here over the back half of this season. Have you gotten any advice from a guy like Tom Brady, Greg Olson, your Fox analyst teammates, or anybody?
Yeah, yeah, I've actually had a lot of these guys reach out to me here. I've stayed in touch with a lot of them, and have great personal relationships with a lot of them. But especially when this announcement was made, a lot of guys have reached out just to wish me well, and excited for the opportunity. And especially guys like Tom and Greg, they're part of the Fox family, and they've done a great job. So yeah, excited to be alongside them with this.
What was the biggest challenge coming from the playing field right into the media game? You were calling Notre Dame games. You called a playoff game like so fast after your playing career ended. Like, what challenges presented itself because of just how fast that went?
Yeah. Well, I'd say this. My first year out. I went right into really doing in studio. So Football Night in America every weekend in Connecticut for Sunday Night Football. Doing some on site game day stuff for Sunday Night Football as well. Um, Broadcasting Notre Dame home football games. So I did 6 Notre Dame home football games with Mike Tirico. And then we did two. We did a Thanksgiving Day game, which was Bills at Saints, and then we did the playoff game, which was Raiders at Bengals. Um, the I think the unfortunate thing was, the thing I most wanted to do was to broadcast NFL games, and unfortunately, that was the
Right.
thing I had the least opportunity to do, during that time. And so I got those 2 games, but they were 8 weeks apart, and so I think what's important with broadcasting is that you kind of get into a rhythm and it's week to week, and man, you learn and you grow and you develop and mature so much. So that's what I'm really excited about with this opportunity is, each and every week, just going to continue to progress and get better and better and more comfortable and just kind of find that tempo and rhythm with it, just like you do as a player.
During your time in between, not that you've had like crazy amount of time in between, or you were still working, as you've been saying, like when you're watching this stuff now, are you watching it almost like when you were a quarterback, watching another guy play quarterback, and you're now watching the media aspect of it?
Yeah, there's really a couple things that you're looking at and then trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
Of course, there's X's and O's things that are happening, on the field, and there's preparation that you've done from a game planning perspective as if you're going to play the game, right? And so as you're in the booth and you're really putting yourself on the field and saying, okay, if I was the quarterback for this team right now, what am I looking at? What are the matchups I'm looking at? What are the things I'm concerned about? What are the goals and objectives for this drive, right? So much of being a quarterback in this day and age is just being a problem solver, right? It's getting your team into good plays, it's taking care of the football, it's kind of living to play the next down. So there's that aspect of it. There's also just more of kind of the themes. Each team, depending on where you are at a certain point in the season, has different things going on, right? My game this week, Packers at Giants, right? Giants have a lot going on right now. Just lost your head coach. Your starting quarterback looks like he's out, so Jameis Winston's going to get the start. His first start of his time with the Giants. So and then the Packers they've got they're trying to kind of get back on a bit of a win streak. I think they're still very much a contender in this whole NFC picture. So that's you're kind of covering off on that, and at the same time you have such a wide range of fans that are watching the game. Some are just seasoned football folks. They got their fantasy teams, man. They want their guys to do well. And then, you've got kind of the average, maybe just a beginning fan who's just trying to kind of get into the game and learn the game and, understand a little bit about the players and the coaches. And so that's what makes it fun is that, each week is a little different. You never know what you're going to get. It's the best reality television you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, that's what makes it fun.
And we get to have the best time covering it all. So
That's right.
that
That's
is
right.
fun. Let's jump into the matchup a little bit though. Like the discourse over the last 48 hours, we're recording on Wednesday. The Packers lose on Monday Night Football. It's been like the Packers offense is broken. What are you seeing when you're studying this team?
I wouldn't say it's broken. I would just say there's missed opportunities, I mean, in most cases, like when you turn on the tape, it's never as we used to say never as bad, never as good, right? Like even on the days where you scored 40 points, you're like, not as good. We kind of got lucky here, got lucky there. We need to be better. And then when you think that it was just awful, you turn on the tape and you're like, golly, there's some lots of opportunities out there. We just kind of missed this and missed that. And had we capitalized on it, would have been a totally different feeling, right? And momentum. So I think that's the way I look at the Packers right now. Man, they've got all the pieces. I think Jordan Love has the chance of being an elite quarterback. An elite quarterback. He's got all the tools. I love LaFleur as a play caller. I love the offensive scheme that they run. They've got weapons. Um, so to me, they're like I envision the offense that we saw against the Dallas Cowboys. Like early in the season on that Monday night game where they tied, or Sunday night game where they tied. Um, they've just fallen a little bit short lately. But I think that's just missed opportunities. And I think they're going to turn it around.
Give me your favorite Jameis Winston story.
Oh boy.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, right. Um, well, I'll say this about James. First off, man, incredible teammate, really incredible teammate. Like same guy every day, smile on his face, ready to work. So just grateful for the opportunity to be there. Loves ball, wants to be great. Do anything for the team. Um, like what you see is what you get. You know, like that infectious kind of enthusiasm. You know, on game day, pregame, postgame, like that's who that guy is. You know, and that's why his teammates love him. Um, I tell you what, man, he can make every throw. You know, he can make every throw. Um, and I think you had plenty of that last year when he had all those the chance to start so many games for Cleveland, and he had some really big games. So look, I'm excited for him. And look, I know despite the chaos in New York right now, man, I look at their roster and I'm like, how they got some dudes on both sides of the ball. And obviously there's a ton of excitement around Jackson Dart. So yeah, let's get Jameis going this weekend. You know, see if we can make some plays, and it's gonna be a heck of a battle. I know that.
Definitely some levity needed in the Giants world right now. So that'll be awesome. Did you have a chance to check out Tyler Shuck, his first two performances, his first
Yeah,
win?
I was impressed with Tyler. Yeah, yeah, I stay in touch with him and Spencer both. You know,
Nice.
um, I know Tyler Shuck's been waiting for his opportunity. You know, got it 2 weeks ago. Look, last week getting the win. So second win of the year for them, but kind of first for him. You know, like break the seal. Um, and you know, coming off of a moment where you know they trade Shaheed, you know, to Seattle, which is tough because I love Shaheed. I think he's a heck of a player, you know, and you know maybe that's
Awesome.
just kind of opened
Congrats.
up some opportunities for some young guys to step up. And but yeah, I'm excited for Tyler. I think he's got all the traits. You know, big, strong, tough kid, good athlete, can really sling it. He's in a great system there with Kellen Moore. So I think we'll continue to see that progress and see him mature as well.
All right, last one for you here, Drew. Thing we do at USA Today Sports is we ask during our interviews for our In My Bag series. Like, it's not your most highlight reel worthy play. It's maybe not the play you're most known for, but it's the moment that you impressed yourself the most. So, Drew Brees, what was your In My Bag moment?
Oh man, I don't know. It's funny, like when very few times do you I mean, well, okay, I'd say this, you know, one like a defining moment for me in my career was when I went to New Orleans and I was coming off the injury, and I'm asking myself every day through that rehab process, like, am I going to be able to come back? Am I going to be able to come back? And you
Mhm.
know, so each day it's just a struggle. You know, throwing the football, going through training camp in '06, getting ready for the '06 season, and there's this sense of urgency because you feel like, "God, we're playing for the city. We're playing for, you know, playing for the head coach who believes in me." And like, I just don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. But every day it's just getting a little better, a little better. But still, I wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like I hadn't felt it. And we're playing in a preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts in Jackson Memorial Stadium in Jackson, Mississippi in 2006, third preseason game. And a ball comes out of my hands. And literally, it was like slow motion. It was like I could see every RPM on that ball as it just like perfectly, you know, made its way to the ex receiver's hands on this deep corner route, right? Which is kind of a difficult route to throw. And the minute it came out of my hands and I just watched it and time slowed down and the completion happens, and I'm like, okay, that was it. And I'll never forget that moment because after the game, we actually got whooped in that game. It was a preseason game, but nonetheless, you know, you're trying to put your best foot forward in that game, and things hadn't gone the way we wanted as a team. And you know, I go in, and Sean Payton was kind of looking, you know, down in the dumps a little bit, and I walk up to him like, "Hey, coach, I know things seem bad. I know that was a bad game." I said, "But I felt it. I
Nice.
felt it." Right. So that's the moment that comes to mind. Is like, you know, I don't know, just knowing that like it was all like the arm was going to come back, and that we were going to do something great.